The second article in the Go Wisdom magazine featured Mark Brayne's article Complex Trauma, EMDR Pacing and Attachment as Organizing Lens. Brayne views EMDR through an attachment-informed lens. In the traditional therapy, the central question is often, what happened? But with complex trauma, he shifts the focus to how did this client learn to respond to what happened based on their early relationships. To understand this, he outlined two tracks of processing. Track 1 focusing on the external trauma events, while Track 2 addressed the internal attachment-informed meaning of the events, such as deeply ingrained beliefs about self-worth, the danger, and the expectations of repair. For clients with developmental trauma, Track 2 is the true driving force of their distress, and focusing only on Track 1, which is the trauma events, is external events, can lead to overwhelm. Because of this, traditional EMDR resourcing must be adapted. A standard safe place, according to him, the safe place visualization can actually trigger complex trauma survivors if they historically associate isolation with fear or neglect. Instead, Brayne recommends installing relational resources such as imaginary nurturing figures, a protector, and wise figures. This provides the nervous system with the soothing safety it desperately lacks during the client's formative years. When it is time to select target for processing, a therapist must safely trace present-day distress back to its earliest roots. Brayne suggests using image, emotion, body, and belief framework rather than asking for a negative cognition or negative belief right away. Clients often stay without genuine emotions. Therapists should start with the image and the body sensation, allowing the true underlying belief to emerge organically. When bridging back to those memories, the therapist should use clear language. By using direct, clear commands like a drop back in time, therapists can bypass cognitive searching and drop the client directly into the relevant memory network. As processing begins, the clinician actively paces the nervous system using deliberate language and micro titrations. According to him, to safely manage a client's nervous system, clinicians should use micro titration primarily through micro adjustment of language. Rather than treating standard EMDR prompts interchangeably, therapists should carefully select specific phrases based on the client's immediate emotional and somatic states. So, go with that is used to support forward moving when the client processing is fluid. And the notice that is used to deliberately anchor the client's awareness. Follow that will encourage the continuation of an unfolding narrative. Stay with that signal containment when the client is experiencing intense affect. And think about that is used to briefly invite reflective integration when the client express a new insight. Also, micro-titration involves using present-day tense check-in language. So, for example, instead of saying, what did you notice? We should say, what are you noticing now? This specific wording is crucial because it keeps the client anchored in dual attention within the therapeutic space, and it will prevent the client shifting into a cognitive, analytical, or detached states. By continuously tracking the client's presence and making this precise moment-by-moment adjustment, the clinician ensures the client stays at a productive stage of trauma reprocessing without losing their capacity to regulate their emotions. The most critical element of Brayne's approach is the tipping point. A major error in therapy is letting the session run out while a childhood wound is still actively open, which only reinforces the client's historical expectations of being abandoned in distress. So to prevent this, about 10 minutes before the session ends, the clinician should shift from meaning making to structure imaginal repair. The therapist guided the client to imagine their childhood needs finally being met by their risk figures and then encoding a complete new protective outcome. So, for example, What do your child need? And then inviting the nurturing, the protective or wise figure to come to assist. Finally, the therapist must safeguard the client back across the bridge into present day awareness. By building a relational container and carefully pacing the work, then the therapist can avoid the common mistake of rushing to repair, ensuring that the client's deepest emotional meaning is fully revealed and safely resolved.